It's time for some Rich's picks from a long-forgotten handheld. What's going on, everyone? It's Rich Haywood here from Bacon Ice Cream Productions and Team RTFC, welcoming you to yet another episode of Good Times with Retro Rich and Fun for Five as I get invaded by my doggy. That's okay, though, because it's Evercade Friday. What's up, guys? We made it. Hope you guys had a fantastic week. We're settling in to the Atari Lynx Collection 1 today. And we're going to go through and find out which ones are Rich's picks. There are some that, I don't know, may surprise you. There are some that probably won't, just to be honest. This is a big collection, though, very much like Pico and the Atari collections. I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of time to just dive in and start doing gameplay. We'll jump in on a couple of them, I think. Some of them won't make sense to do, so we'll probably skip them, even though they might actually get picks anyway. You'll see in a minute. But let's see what we get here. Yeah. So why don't you just come on with me, go through the Atari Lynx Collection 1 and find out which ones I recommend for you. All right. Let's go. Let's do it. All right. Here we are with Atari Lynx Collection 1. That's right. So we start off with Awesome Golf. Is Awesome Golf awesome? I don't know if it's awesome, but it is okay. It's an okay golf game. I'm going to give it a half pick. And the reason I'm going to give it a half pick is because there's not a lot of golf games that are in collections on the Evercade. And if you're looking for one, this isn't a horrible one, for sure, by any stretch of the imagination. So I would go ahead and say, this is something that you could play. There is a little bit of frustrating moments, a little frustrating controls, that kind of thing. But overall, it's a pretty decent game. And, I think worthy of its place in the collection. Because it is actually an Atari title. So there's that. Then we go to Basket Brawl. Now, this automatically gets a Rich's pick. And the reason why is because it's just a funky game. It's so fun to play games that have like all sorts of different weird things. I think I'm actually going to go into this one because it never before have I seen a game where when you're playing it, like actively it actively wants to like brutalize you. So here you are, you're playing your game. This guy scores. Here comes this guy from the background. He's like like drop kicking your face. There's guys with like, this guy's got a knife. He's chasing you down. And it's like, what kind of game of basketball is this? I just wanted to shoot my hoops and see what happened. And he's like, no, man, you don't understand. This isn't basketball anymore. This is Basket Brawl. And then here you are, you're shooting practically half court shots and draining them. There you are. It's just fun, right? It's just fun to see. Now, are the graphics anything to write home about? No, but neither was stuff on the Game Boy. And this is and on the Lynx, this is basically what you're kind of looking for, right? So as I get knifed as we're talking here, but anyway, you can see in Basketball, it's a fun time. It's just a quirky game. You don't take it seriously. It's not like you're playing like NCAA or something like that. And you're not even NBA Jam, right? You're just having some good times. You're just going through. So the next one is Crystal Mines 2 Buried Treasure. Now, this one was a game that was kind of like in the lost but then found era of Lynx. A couple of these developers made games post-launch for the Lynx. Some homebrew, like this kind of stuff. But I think Crystal Mines 2 actually was a game that was out on other systems and wound up getting ported to the Lynx back in the day, and then eventually gets collected here, of course. Crystal Mines 2 is a pretty awesome game. I'm gonna go ahead and say, it's a cool little puzzler that. Whoops. I needed What am I doing? Oh, here we go. Um, you're running through. You're gathering these stars. It's kind of like dig dug elements. It's got like your maze game elements. All sorts of fun stuff happening here in this game, and it's just a fun time. You've got a little bit of pressure. There is a timer in this game. It kind of goes for you. But this is the kind of game that I used to play over at my uncle's house, right? This is a game very much in the same vein of a game that we'll wind up talking about in Collection 2 on the Lynx. That is just one of those games that you just sit down, you play. It's a little brain bender, and you just have a lot of fun with it. So that's why I like it, and I give it a pick. We got Cyber Virus. That's another pick. So we're up to 3 in a row. We got on a roll here. And the reason why this one gets a pick is just for sheer, go for it. Just for sheer go for it. You've got this crazy thing here. You've got a mission. You're talking to people. You've got this visor view. It's a first-person shooter on a handheld in a day where you didn't really see very many of those, and when you did see them, they sure didn't look like this. They were much more, much less advanced, I should say. Looking, even though the sprite work isn't amazing on here, yeah, I know, it's pretty clunky looking, but there's still some fun to be had here for sure in Cyber Virus. And it's just cool. It's just cool to see a game like this exist in a handheld for back then. It's pretty good times. And again, it's one of those games that is lost to time and then brought back in the early 2000s for the handheld, which is cool. We've got Dracula the Undead. Now, this one I'm not going to go into, but it is solidly a richest pick. I like this game so much that if you look for Dracula the Undead right here on the Bacon Ice Cream Productions channel, you will see me playing straight through this game. And in one of the very first ever full playthroughs I've ever done on the channel for a game on the Evercade. I just really like it because it's a point-and-click adventure that's kind of done really well. You don't see a lot of them at all on the earlier consoles, and it's got a cool air about it. Is it a fun game? It's not amazingly fun. I'm not going to say, oh, this is the greatest, most fun game I've ever played, but there's something about this, about the atmosphere, about that weird sepia tone that's on the cartridge itself. When you're playing the game, the audio, everything just kind of hits it right. And you know what? Kudos to them. And that's why it's a solid pick there. Now you've got Gordo 106. This may be the first I really wanted to like this, but it's a miss. I don't even know if it gets a half a pick for me. I had some good times playing this game, but overall, when I played it a little more, there's more frustration in this game than there is fun to be had, in my opinion. So Gordo 106, I think, is going to be a pass. I'm not going to necessarily give it even a half pick, even though I kind of want to. I think hopefully it would do a lot better if I guess they had I don't know, tightened things up a little more, or made the acceleration of the character and the platformer a little bit more easier to control or manage. I don't know what it was about this that made it miss for me, but it is indeed a miss. We got Ishido, Way of the Stones. Now, this one was a controversial pick when we were doing the Atari Lynx Collection before on the Evercast. I really liked this game at first, where most people didn't really like it. And I think I still hold true. Is it enough to give it a solid, full, richest pick? No, it's not. Over time, the levels as you go through them, it's not as fun, as you play more. But it's okay. It's okay. So it does get a half a pick though. And if you're into puzzle games, I definitely recommend checking it out. So then we get to Jimmy Connor's Tennis. Jimmy Connor's Tennis is one of those ones where it's like, I want it to be so much better. And it is kind of fun. And I did have some fun times as we were doing first impressions when we went on the Evercast. But again, it's over time. You get that thing where it pulls the pick away. It had it in its hands, and then it just let it slip. I don't know if I could recommend Jimmy Connor's Tennis. Hopefully there'll be more tennis or basketball or any of those games that we can play later on that'll be better than this one. But for now, I think it's actually a pass. I don't know if it gets a half pick. So sorry, Jimmy Connor. We'll play tennis another time. Loopz. This one definitely gets a pick. And the reason why is because it's an awesome, fun puzzler in the vein of Pipe Dream. And I love these kind of games. I had a blast playing it. I had a blast capturing footage for the episode that we did for the Lynx collections. I think this is the one that we did when I was in Florida. I was on visiting the folks when we did this episode. And I had a blast. I had a blast playing this game. I think it's awesome. And I think everyone should play it too. And again, this is one of those ones that like Songbird kind of went back and tweaked it a little, or like maybe this was one that was lost to time and actually got published back then. I'm not exactly sure the history of the game. All I know is it's a fun one, and it definitely gets a Rich's pick for sure. Malibu Bikini Volleyball. No, I'm sorry. The straight up no. Go overhead to the Technos Collection and play yourself some Super Spike V-Ball. There is a better volleyball game. It is on the Technos Collection. It is collection number 10. Go ahead and play some volleyball. If you're looking for volleyball, go elsewhere. There could have been so much more that this game could have done to make me like it, but as far as this one goes, no, it's a pass. I'm sorry. I tried really hard actually to like it, but no. Megapack Volume 1. This gets a Rich's pick. And the reason why is because all of these cool little quirky mini games really do make a package that I think is worth playing and worth checking out. The first game, excuse me, the Powerfly, it's just straight up. It's a Game & Watch game, right? But it's done really well. You can go on some really cool streaks, and I think it's great. I think it's great to check out. So if you've got some time and you got the Lynx cartridge, I say hop in there and spend a couple minutes and at least play Powerfly. Everything else, the password's okay. Lynx Sketch is okay. The one whether it was the car, I figure it was the car one. Chopper X was actually pretty cool. Enjoy the majestic colors in Pontiac. I mean, you're just like looking at a car, which is weird. But yeah, Chopper X was kind of cool. And Powerfly is cool. It's worth your time to go check it out. Power Factor. I like this game. I really do. I think it's going to get a Rich's pick. It's not the best action game, but it is pretty cool. I know we're getting a little long in the tooth, so I'm going to start playing. I think I'm going to stop playing them games. I'm just going to give you a little blurb. But yeah, Power Factor is cool. It gets a Rich's pick from me. I say check it out. Check it out. Remnant Planar Wars is another action game that is kind of cool. This one I had fun with. Is it as good as some of the other like in cockpit games that are in the other collections? There's like one on Namco 1. There's a couple on Atari 1 and 2, like Radar Lock and Solaris, excuse me. But does this one raise itself to the level of that? I don't know. I don't know if it's like full pick, maybe a half pick for this one. It's cool though. It's really cool, and I think you should check it out, especially if you're a fan of those other ones. But if it holds, does it hold up against those others? I'm not sure, in my opinion. But it's cool. It's cool. Definitely check it out. Scrapyard Dog gets a pick for me because it's a fun, out of nowhere kind of like quirky platformer. Is it the best? No. Does it handle the best? No, absolutely not. Especially when you're, like you got character action platformers from every other major company out there, they all probably control better than this game. But there's something about the atmosphere of the game, the graphics, the sounds, the cool places that it sets you in. Like you're jumping around a junkyard and you're jumping around, like Old Town and like that kind of stuff. It's got a lot of charm, and I think it's worth checking out. So Scrapyard Dog definitely gets a richest pick for me. Super Asteroids and Missile Command. I mean, come on. You guys know who I am. Like, you think I'm not going to give this a pick? I mean, this may, in fact, be, as far as like solid gameplay goes, maybe the best example of awesome arcade/console games being converted to a handheld that I might have ever seen. Now, do I like Super Asteroids above 2600 Asteroids? No, absolutely not. 2600 Asteroids all day long, even though the arcade game, and I know people are calling me crazy right now, but that's what I grew up with. And 2600 Missile Command or Arcade Missile Command or this one, I mean, this one looks nice and it plays nice, but I mean, if you don't have the rollerball controller, I don't know what you're doing playing Missile Command without that precision. But I do like the 2600 version as well. So it's just, I don't think you can move fast enough with a D-pad to make Missile Command worth it without the controller. But yeah, like I said, that's still being said, it's still fun. But this version does look better than the 2600 version, of course. So if you're into that kind of stuff and you've got Lynx Collection in your pocket, definitely give yourself some time. This is solidly a richest pick, so I'd say go for it. Then we've got Super Squeak. Now, I love quirky platformers, or not platformers. I do love those too, but quirky puzzle games. And Super Squeak is definitely one of those quirky puzzle games. It's not the best puzzle game out there, but it's cool and it does things in a unique way. And for that, it gets a richest pick. And if you're into those kind of things, definitely go and check it out. If you're not into puzzle games at all, like take one look at Tetris and then run, this is probably not for you either. But if you're into puzzle games, I definitely say give it a shot. As you can tell, as we get to Xump the Final Run, which is another puzzle game, which again, quirky puzzle game, one of those lost to time, kind of like newer style games that made for the Lynx. I'm all about that kind of stuff. People making new games for old hardware. I'm all about that. And this definitely solidly gets a richest pick. So if, again, same rules apply. If you're into puzzle games, great, check this one out. If you're not, I mean, it's probably not going to be for you, but I'd still say, at least for Xump, definitely check it out. If not, for Super Squeak as well. So what do we got? We got Basketball is a pick. Crystal Mines is a pick. Cybervirus is a pick. Dracula the Undead is a pick. All right, we get some half picks and skips around there. Loopz is back in the mix with another pick. We got Mega Pack as a pick. Power Factor as a pick. I think I landed on half pick for Remnant Wars, Remnant Planar Wars. Scrapyard Dog is a pick. Super Asteroids is a pick. Super Squeak is a pick. And Xump the Final Run, a pick. This cart is loaded with them. And for that, it definitely gets a solid recommendation for me as far as Atari Lynx Collection 1 goes. If you're looking for another collection of games that you might not have heard or might not have played, this is definitely one of those. So let's get to the wrap-up so I can talk a little bit more about that and get this done. There you go, folks. There it is. It's Atari Lynx Collection 1 on the Evercade. Solid. It's a solid collection, and still, since I haven't dipped back into the Lynx Collection and played these games for a while, I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably one of those that if I did a full ranking, it'd be hard pressed that this didn't break my top 10, for sure. Even if, like with 22 other carts in the mix, and a lot of them that are really, really solid, I think this one squeaks in there, in maybe 9-10 slot, but definitely consider this one as a collection. I think it's a solid one, and it's a great introduction into all the cool things that Lynx can do. Now, can Atari Lynx Collection 2 get in there as well? I don't know. We're going to have to find out next week. But until then, hang out down below. Let me know how I'm doing. If you're liking these cool Rich's Picks episodes, as I go through all the collections, I'm going to get through them all. I'm going to do them anyway, so sorry. But let me know down below what you think about the games. What were your favorite picks? What would you recommend? Would you recommend this card to a friend or not? But until then, we'll see you next week for some more stuff. Don't forget, tomorrow, of course, another Evercast. We got all sorts of cool stuff going your way on that. Until next time, we'll catch you next time for some good times. I'm Rich, and we'll see you later. All right, guys, take it easy.
RTFC.baconicecream.com